Oh, hi! Now we're going to be going to our twofer. Well, this is going to be a first, at least for this channel, wherein I'm going to be talking about music or a song, but it's not K-pop. We're now going back to my roots, or going to be back to a genre I love, that I really love, and we're going to be talking about, I guess, my favorite one of my favorite bands. I I actually grew up on rock music. As a kid, I really didn't understand it yet, but one of the first songs that I actually remember being played while I was a kid in the car was Stairway to Heaven. And from there, I went into glam rock. I love glam rock. I loved Warrant. I love Poison as my two favorite bands. And hopefully soon I get to talk about it. And after that, I got into grunge, which is typical for somebody of my generation. But I wasn't that much of a fan of Nirvana aside from Smells Like Teen Spirit. I was leaning more into Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. Well, and there's Soundgarden. Now, after that, I got into punk. When I guess now people call it pop punk, but at that time it was just still punk. And one of my favorite bands is Newfound Glory, or NFG. Now, NFG, or Newfound Glory, started in 1997. They're from Florida. Now, this is a band that actually got formed right just right in the what they call the second generation of mainstream punk success. So initially, before that time, it was bands like Green Day. I guess Rancid. You can also put Rancid there, where bands started getting punk bands are starting to get traction in mainstream airplay. And with Green Day's Dookie, it added a dimension wherein it's punk, yes, but it's not too punky in a sense that it sounded very it sounded that it sounded too chaotic. This had having it's like it's punk, but it's, I would say, curated, or I guess made more coherent, and that rose, and the genre of pop punk came in. And during the times of they call it in if you look in Wikipedia, they call it the times of 1997 to 2004 as the second mainstream success. And honestly, that is where my favorite bands are and my favorite albums are. And actually, that stunted my punk growth because I was mainly in that area. And that's where NFG, or Newfound Glory, actually got in and really made it really got big and got themselves respected. Now, originally, NFG, I'll be calling it NFG to be shorter. NFG is a five-piece. Jordan Pondic at vocals. They had Chad Gilbert and Stephen Klein in guitars. They had Stephen Klein and Chad Gilbert. They had Cyrus Boluki on drums and Ian Grushka on bass. So uh, Stephen Klein had to leave the band, or was booted out of the band because of being charged with a crime, and they continued as a four piece, officially as a four piece, but they do get session players. And they started with a 1999 album called Nothing Gold Can Stay. It's actually that's where they had one of my favorite song in that album is Third and Long. And then they followed it up with the self-titled album, Newfound Glory, and that's my favorite album ever. most people would put Sticks and Stones as their favorite, but for me, it's still the 2000 self-titled album. Now that they had the re-release of the song "Hit or Miss," which is their carrier single, but aside from that, they've got some songs that I really love. Specifically, "Eyesore." They had "Dress to Kill." They had "All About Her." They also had "Boy Crazy," and "Second to Last." Second to Last. So those are my favorite songs. It's basically the whole album. I love the whole album, and new NFG is basically like also came in coming into the heels of Blink 182, wherein they have got even in their videos wherein they talk about love, heartache, heartbreaks, uh, disappointments, while maintaining an energetic, youthful at that time, energetic, and humorous take on things, especially their music videos. That's why they could say that there's going to be a lot of comparisons to Blink 182 with the way they did videos. It's very humorous, and another thing also is that they're very similar in vibe, especially since they started out basically in the same era. And now they're still performing. The band as a four-piece is still continuing. But what I wanted to talk about is their recent, well, not really recent, just around 2 years ago, their acoustic album, which is, and their main single there, which is Dream Born Again. Now they did this whole album. They had acoustic remakes of their best songs, and they had also with an additional of with new songs in that album, but it's all acoustic. Now with this, they had the drummer Cyrus Buluki also playing guitars. He also plays guitars, by the way. But what makes it special for me personally, for because they usually talk about disappointments, problems, and letting it out. But one thing that I love about this song, which is "Dream Born Again," the one that we're talking about. Sorry, it took a while for the intro. Is that this is something very hopeful. It's like you were the dream I thought was lost, that he hoped for, and he was happy that it stayed true with us. So I love all their other songs, but mostly it's about heartache, like "My Friends Over You," "A Hit or Miss," like it's not enough. It's easy to lose a girl, like for a girl like a loose girl anyway. There's also "Dress to Kill," like someone they really like. There's also their album "Not Without a Fight." So one thing I love about this, it's hopeful. It's not hopeful, but it shows hope. It's all acoustic, but remember they're punk, but they're one of I would say one of their influence would be hardcore also. So it's like a mix of punk and hardcore. So it's pretty heavy. They sound heavy, heavy. Their guitars are heavy, and putting it in an acoustic setting, you can still feel that it's heavy, that they're really coming from a hardcore background. But the song Jordan's voice, which is higher than usual, is also something that puts the song in a better place. And with that also is that one thing also is that it's just a love song. I know they've done love songs before. I know they do a lot of love songs, and they do a lot of, but this is something that is very appreciative, is full of hope, full of it's like full of thanks, and it just gives the vibe that for someone who has lost hope, someone who always felt it's something negative, it's a good something good happens to them. And it has since become my favorite NFG song as I got older, because well, we do mature, we do tend to see things differently, and that puts something into them. They've been performing since '97, so basically that's like 28 years, right? So they've been a band for 28 years, and a lot of things has happened to them. Chad had cancer, um, and this song just shows that things can get better. Things can be better. If you think that you felt that everything's lost, everything's gone, things will get better. And that's also a message I'd like to tell everybody. Things will get better. It may not be now, it may not be then, but just keep at it. Things will get better. Funny story, they had a performance here in the Philippines a long time ago when Foo Fighters was just new actually. And I saw Jordan Pondic in the mall. I think they're living near in a hotel near the mall. It was in for the Filipinos SM Mega Mall, and I saw him and I just froze because first off he's tall, and then that's newfound glory. But then again, I never got the chance to get in. I got too starstruck. The same way I got starstruck when I saw Fred Durst in Poland. No, not just Fred Durst. The rest of Limp Bizkit in Poland in the hotel. We had the same hotel. But then again, try them out. I'll be putting the link to the video of Dream Born Again in the description. But if there's anything that I like to say about this song, this is my favorite. This has been still my favorite song. Things will get better. I know if things are bad, don't lose hope. Stay at it. If you don't stay at it, maybe reassess. Break, reassess. Think of plan it out, but never lose hope. Things will get better. Because like what they said in Dream Born Again, the person he's singing it to is the dream come true, a dream that he thought he lost, but the dream came true again. So it's never lost. If it's lost, there's a reason it's lost. But if it comes back, then it's there. Right? And enjoy. I just hope that you can enjoy it. And yeah, it's something new for me, and NFG forever.